Hi, church family, and welcome back to another opportunity to hear a little bit more of the deeper level of our characters from the Christmas story. I have a question for you. How is your Christmas season going so far? Well, I gotta admit, if this is a safe enough space, that the last couple of days have been a little rough for me, maybe for you too. This Sunday, we lit the candle of joy, and we talked about finding joy in our current circumstances. We talked about finding the baby Jesus and finding that joy, even in the hustle and bustle of our Christmas season. And so yesterday, as I was going for a run, I had an opportunity to really reflect on my own feelings over these last couple weeks and how it actually ties to our next character that we're exploring, the Innkeeper. Now, the Bible doesn't tell us a whole lot about the Innkeeper. We don't know much about his story, but we do know that the Innkeeper offered Mary and Joseph a place for them to stay. We don't know why there wasn't any other place for them to stay. We know that Mary and Joseph had come to his hometown so that they could pay their taxes. I'm sure they didn't have any sort of planning ahead travel agent like we have these days, but the story goes that Mary and Joseph did not have a place in the inn in a nice, clean, probably upper level part of the man's house. So they stayed in a cave or a barn, basically where animals stayed. And the innkeeper at least offered them that space. Now, on Sunday, we talked a little bit about who the innkeeper was and how busy he was, multitasking, welcoming guests, keeping up with the busyness of that particular season, and how he missed the opportunity to welcome the Christ child. But I would take it a little further and say that while he did miss the opportunity to see Jesus in person, what I think he teaches us in this time of busyness is that dreaded word, compromise. Now, I'd like to think that I am a person that sees gray in a world of black and white. Oftentimes, I can find the grace, I can find the middle ground. But lately, in this season of so much happening, I don't always find the gray. I try to come up with the plan, stick with the plan, and don't veer from the plan. I don't know if you're like that too. I know that times when we're gathering with family, friends, our routine is different, our expectations are higher, our boundaries are expanded, or sometimes even dissolved. We don't often have an opportunity to offer grace. And so I think the person of the innkeeper, the character of the innkeeper, teaches us about how we can be people that find compromise even in the busiest season. We know, of course, that the innkeeper didn't allow Mary and Joseph to stay in the inn. It simply says there was no room for them in the inn. But the innkeeper could have turned them away completely. The innkeeper could have, sent them down the road or made them stay outside in the cold. But the innkeeper had mercy on this pregnant mom and her betrothed Joseph. And so he found a way to meet somewhere in the middle, to find somewhere in the gray a place that would suffice. And so where I am in my own spirit right now, as we're entering our third week in Advent, as we're really getting down to the last few days of not only Christmas, but for me, it's also my daughter's birthday next week. It's a busy season. And so my challenge to you is, how do you find the gray when we want to see black and white? How do you see grace when we want to stick to the traditions and the rules and the expectations that may have already been laid out? How does the innkeeper's story tell us that oftentimes we can still experience God when we learn to compromise, when we learn to find a way somewhere in the middle. So my hope for you, my prayer for you and for myself is that as you prepare for our children to go out of school, to travel and see family, maybe you're going to be with friends or groups of people that you don't oftentimes spend time with. My challenge for you is to think of the innkeeper as a person that teaches you how to compromise, teaches you how to find grace, even in the midst of a chaotic situation. Go in peace.